Hey, what's up everyone, it's xScarlife here, and today I would like to give you a complete overview of all the add-ons that I'm using in Shadowlands. Now, to make this video a bit easier to follow, I'm going to divide it into different sections, and let us start with the overview of my interface. So for my interface, I'm using the add-on called LVI along with some additional add-ons. At the top of the screen is the add-on called XIV Data Bar, and that add-on is used to replace the default WoW micro menu. Now for the damage meter, at the other hand, I'm using Details because I think that it gives the most accurate results, and you can also share your profile with other people, which is always handy if you want to share your settings with one of your friends. I also use the add-on called MINIMAP button back, and that is a very neat add-on because it will hide all of your map buttons and move them all under one single button. So that way your minimap will also look way cleaner. For clearing mythic dungeons, I'm using the add-on called Gotta Go Fast, and that one can be very handy to see your time being displayed while you are clearing a dungeon. Along with that one, I'm also using a weak aura to see who has interrupted during a boss fight. That way I can easily track their interrupts, so I don't have to waste my interrupt and possibly wipe the group. If you're interested in importing this weak aura, it can be found inside the video description. When it comes down to the boss fight itself, I'm using the add-on called Deadly Boss Mods, since that's the one that is responsible for all of the boss alerts, but I think that everyone has already installed that add-on by now. To see my weekly dungeon or raid lockouts, I'm using the add-on called Adventure Guide Lockouts, and that one will basically place a checkmark next to your dungeon or raid in your adventure panel. If you hover over it with your mouse, you will also see which bosses that you have killed and also on what difficulty that you have killed them. If you are into gold making, then you might also need the add-on called Trade Skill Master, because that one is in my opinion the best auction house add-on that you can have for opening your in-game mail or basically posting auctions onto the auction house. When I'm gathering with my druid, I also get a lot of questions what the add-on is that I use for making that green circle appear in the middle of my screen. Well, that's the add-on called FARMHUD, and that add-on basically moves your minimap into the middle of your screen, so it is much easier for you to see all of your gathering nodes. Along with that add-on, I also use the one called Routes, and that add-on I use all the time to basically make all of my farming routes, which you can also download on my Discord server or in the video description on my other video. This add-on actually allows you to make a farming route that you can follow while you are gathering, and that way you don't have to leave your map open all the time to see if you are running into the right direction. You may also notice that every single ore and herb that I picked up also appears on my map. If you also want that, you should install the add-on called GATHERMATE too. If you are curious about the gold per hour that you are making during your farm, you should also install the add-on called APPRAISER. And this add-on will show you the gold per hour, but also how long that you have been farming. When you want to know how much herbs that you have collected, for example, you can also use the add-on called FARMIT. This one is quite handy because you can drag an item from your inventory to the add-on, and it will basically track how many herbs or ores that you have collected during your farming session. If I'm heavily farming for something, I also like to know how many adds that I have killed during that 1 hour farming session, for example. When you also want to know that information, then you should install the add-on called HYPERSPAWN. Alright, we have now arrived to the last category of add-ons that I use, and let us start with the first one, which is called AZEROTH Autopilot. Now this add-on I have been using since the launch of the expansion to level my first character as quickly as possible, and I also made a whole guide about the add-on, so if you are interested, you can find all of the details down below into the video description. When I'm targeting a mob, there also appears a red arrow above my nameplates, and that is the add-on called Target Nameplate Indicator, so that way you can see it even better when you are targeting something. Sometimes when I'm doing my world quests or something else, I get these warnings on my screen to warn me that one of the many rare spawns is currently active, and the add-on responsible for that is called SILVERDRAGON. I'm also using this add-on in combination with the add-on called Rare Tracker, and Rare Tracker itself can become very handy when you are inside the maw and you want to see what rares are currently active. You will get this list on your screen showing you what rare is currently active and how much health he has left by showing a green square next to the name. If you click on the green square at the other hand, it will also alert nearby players in your chat window, so that way it can be very easy to communicate and ask for help. Another very handy add-on that I can't live without anymore is called LEATRIX Plus, and in my opinion this is basically an add-on that almost everyone should have installed, because it has some very neat features baked into this single add-on. For example, you can block duels, you can replace certain interface elements, or basically make your character loot faster. If I want to know what world quests are currently active, I use the add-on called World Quest List, which will show you a complete list of all the active world quests and also their rewards. When I open up my map, I can also see all of the instance locations around the world. Now this can become very handy if you are searching for the location of a certain instance, and the add-on that I use for that is called Instance Portals. For tracking my boss kills and also the drop chances, I use the add-on called Rarity, and that one will basically show you a complete list of all the bosses and also their mount drops and how many attempts that you have on that specific boss. If you're sick of scrolling through the pre-made group finder and seeing boosting groups advertised, you can also use the add-on called Looking for Group Spam Filter, and when you have that one installed you should see a red cross next to the group that you have selected. If you then click on the cross itself, it will automatically remove that one from the list and also report that group to Blizzard for spamming the group finder. To extend the vendor user interface, I use the add-on called Extended Vendor UI, and as the name already explains, this one will basically extend your vendor UI so you have a better overview instead of scrolling through all of the different pages. And then as last we have arrived to the two add-ons that I use for transmog, and the first one is called Better Wardrobe. Now this add-on is something that you can use to randomize all of your transmog sets, or you can also browse through the other options to basically select an available transmog set if you are out of inspiration. And for the last add-on, I use the add-on called Can I Mog It, and that one will basically place a check mark next to the items that I have already learned as a transmog set, or also a cross when I don't have it learned yet on my character. So there you have it, my friends. Those are pretty much the most important add-ons that I use for my interface. If you do want to see a complete list of the add-ons that I use, you can basically consider joining my Discord server or take a look inside the video description. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Follow my social media, like it if you liked it, subscribe for more, and I catch you guys into the next one.